Oh wow, haven't been talking this entire time. Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the French Grand Prix. We haven't been here for a while, but we are finally back. And Nifo currently tops the times. You may be wondering why we only have 3 minutes left of the session. Well, it's because I haven't been talking the entire session. So far, I do apologise. Nifo into the pit lane, going to try and go out for one more lap, I would assume, unless they're going to try and save their tyres, of course. Zingy sits himself in P2, a 30.0, still needs to find a 10th if he has to, if he wants to have a look at the pole position, of course. Yeah, we haven't been here for a while. Looking at the championship, though, Eager Pro takes it for a little spin. But looking at the championship, Nifo has to win this race. If Zingy wins this race, he wins the championship automatically. Nifo has to win this race. They just need to do it. They need to get it done. If they finish second and Zingy doesn't win, I'm not entirely sure what happens, but other than that, he just has to win this race. He just has to get it done. Whether he does that, time will tell, of course. Ironically, one of the last times actually, we raced at France. I think we've raced 3 times in total, if that's correct. Maybe 2. At least one of those times, I was actually muted for the entire race until the final 3 laps of that race. So luckily, we figured that out in qualifying, of course. So good to know that I have got my mic unmuted. Now, some cars are on their way back out for the final time. Gilly going for one last improvement lap. Strat, Eager Pro, both on laps here. Gilly as well. No, I've already said Gilly. We've got the Williams on their way out as well. Eager Pro has invalidated this lap, so they're going to have to... although I think it was an out lap, so it doesn't really matter too much. They just got to make sure that they don't spin on the one that is most important, of course. Now, they open it up. Let's see what they can do. They were there for the last race at France, the last one that we ever did. Not many people can say that. Of course, PJ, Eager Pro, they were both there. No one else was. These guys are the OG drivers. Now, Eager Pro going as far as they can to the track limits on exit of turn 2 into turn 3, sending it through so close to the track limits once again. Lovely, lovely stuff. Into the hairpin. Lovely and smooth. Very, very tidy so far. Once again, it's just very, very smooth at the moment. Whether it's fast or not, we don't know. DRS available. Right there, let's see what they can do. The setup-wise, I don't know what they'll be running, but I mean, you know, qualifying compared to race pace, it might be a bit different. They have invalidated. They might get another chance here. They might get another chance if they can get around the circuit in time. I don't quite know. There's a lot of traffic on the circuit at the moment. Many cars are extremely close together. They need to try and back up a little bit because otherwise it's not going to work at all, is it? Stra, purple middle sector right there. Is that just a bug or is that actually gonna be a possible fastest lap? Let's see what they can do. Through turn 11, sending it through the car, almost sliding through the corner. Amazing to see. Even though it's a game, it is very, very nice to see. Late apex, smooth on the throttle, open it up, ride that curb if you need to. Now we go through turn 14 for the final time and the final corner of the circuit into 15. Let's see what they can do. Getting it flicked back to the right-hand side on the throttle. Waiting for that line. Almost there. Just a little bit more to go across the line. And that is their qualifying session over a P6 overall. Will Zingy be able to challenge for pole? No, he will not. No, he will not. He's invalidated. Rouleton as well, invalidated. Luke, could he try and displace Nifo from that top spot? Is it going to be possible? I don't quite know. The Williams, it's their last chance. It's their last chance. Nifo, are they going to be able to improve? I don't know if they're coming across the line now or if they're just ahead. I think they are. What's it going to be? And no, that is Gilly. That is Gilly, a 31.1, so they're not going to be very close to their teammate to try and help them. They can still do something about it later on, though. They can change it up here. Now, the final few corners, the final sector for Luke to try and get to that front row of the grid. Is it going to be at all possible? I do not quite know. We'll have to wait and see. On a few corners, bit of traffic. Hopefully it's not going to be a big issue. That is Nifo, I believe, moving out of the way as they will not be able to improve. Luke comes around the final corner. Is it going to be a possible pole position here at France? Will he get another one? And it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. A 30.4, almost exactly a tenth away from Ruleton. That is qualifying over EagerPro. It will not improve. They're going into the pit lane. That is qualifying done. Nifo takes pole position. Zingy in P2 and Ruleton in P3. What's the last time Nifo take pole position? Was that Saudi? Was that Saudi? We had Saudi. Then did we have Azerbaijan? No, it was Brazil, then Abu Dhabi. So, Brazil, they didn't take it, I don't think. Abu Dhabi, they didn't take it. So it was Saudi Arabia, I think they took pole position, if I'm correct. If they didn't, and they were close to the front, I think they might have got P2, actually. Nifo takes pole position, Zingy in P2, and then Ruleton in P3. This is the rest of the grid. We'll see if Ruleton can get up the order, and we'll see if Nifo can find their way into the lead after that first corner. It can be very, very hectic as it is a very high speed turn 1 and 2. They just need to get a good launch and they'll be absolutely perfect to go, but they do have a couple of controller players right behind them that will have a decent start, so they've just got to be extremely careful. We'll see you though in a bit for the race. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's gonna get it into turn 1? Nifo gets away well initially. Is Ziggy gonna get the second phase better? I think he will. He's on the outside. He has the advantage. Nifo still to the inside, but Ziggy swoops around and he takes the lead in the Grand Prix early on. Ruleton there. There's a Ferrari up. There's an AlphaTauri up as well. That'll be Gilly and Robbo. Yes, it is Robbo. Unfortunately, Dave Raptors loses a position there to Straw, but up the order and looking for a move right there is Luke, the other Williams right behind. Luke cutting a corner there. That's going to be their first warning of the session. Will we see Nifo try and regain the lead early on, or are they just going to let this go? Will they push for it? It looks like they might have a look. They have a run, but they're not going to actually challenge. They're just going to sit behind EagerPro, behind this train as well. Very, very close. Robbo immediately getting their way back up the order, despite for the rocky start. And that is Stroll. Of course, Dave Raptors and Gilly right behind them. The Haas and the Ferrari of Dave Raptors are pretty close together, so we'll see what they can do. At the moment, Luke just sat behind these guys, and that's Nifo looking for the lead. Pretty early on, they had the advantage on the entry of the corner. Once again, though, on the exit, Zingy's just superior. Nifo really, really sending it there, almost close enough to make a move, but Zingy just manages to get the advantage. Nifo, that might be an advantage later on. If they can send it on the brakes, that's going to be a pretty good skill for a circuit like this, but is it going to be enough? Gilly unfortunately makes a mistake. It's going to look very unlikely for them to be able to help their teammate here today, although he doesn't really look like he needs too much help, and that's Luke going defensive to his own teammate. His teammate trying to go the long way round, sticks his nose in, but has to back off, and they're going to live to fight another day. But Eager Pro now gets the run. They have the advantage, and they get the move done as PJ backs off before turn 3. It's not worth losing the train at this stage of the race. Brilliant stuff there. Eager Pro taking a place as he picks up the pieces. DRS not available just yet, but still the straight line speed will be insane, as that's Eager Pro making a mistake. PJ actually wants to have a look already, and the Ferrari might have another return. They might have a look back, but I don't think it's going to be possible. On the outside, Eager Pro has to go. PJ on the inside. There's contact. Robbo makes contact with PJ. PJ loses positions. He's going to let him go back through, but I don't know. That's not what we want to see. The DRS train might be gone now. These guys might have just fallen a little bit too hard. Luke, he needs to try and stay in this DRS train. He's on the limits a little bit, so he's got to be very careful here. Seems to be gaining in the final sector, so maybe suggesting he's slightly higher on the downforce compared to the other drivers. That's really not going to help them when the DRS kicks in, though, of course. We'll have to wait and see how the train will cause everybody to split up, I guess you could say. Also, strategies, I think they're pretty straightforward with everybody right now. Of course, they're all on the hards. For the top 4, Eager Pro, I believe, is also on the hards. I think, is it PJ on that medium tyre? Other than that, DRS is now enabled. It is available for Nifo to deploy. First of all, Zingy's going to be under a little bit of a threat. We'll have to wait and see if they can make that move or not. Once again, we'll have to wait and see. It's just a matter of fact. We can't really say too much more than that. Eager Pro is the first to lose that DRS of the car ahead. So unfortunately, there's going to be a bit of a split as he does make a mistake now. Nifo, he's going to have a perfect run, but Zingy's done enough to actually prevent him from going anywhere near him. He's going to prevent him from going for any kind of move. Nifo will catch back up massively, but Zingy knows what he's got to do. He's just got to keep that pressure on and not allow Nifo to get comfortable, and then it's just going to be so difficult for him to be able to challenge, as that is Eager Pro now getting challenged by Robbo. PJ seems to have made a mistake, maybe on the exit of turn 9 possibly. So Robbo having a look. PJ, I'm not sure. Oh, sending it back to the inside does Eager Pro, but not able to get through. I'm not sure what happened there. Eager Pro went off the circuit. PJ was behind. Maybe there was something that happened there, unless it was a spin. I hope it was just a spin and nothing more serious. We'll have to wait and see. Dave Raptor's right behind Stroll. They might be able to get something from this. PJ trying to recover back from this as well, and Gilly further back the order on to lap 4. Zingy goes fastest, pushing like a madman. He is very quick, as we saw, of course, on the exit of turn 6 and 7. He had a very nice gap to the back of Nifo. Let's watch and see how it goes, okay? 4 tenths at the moment, pretty much 5. Into turn 3, sending it once again is Nifo, and immediately followed by another corner, so it allows him to get a really good few corners and not allow Zingy to get a really good exit on the traction. Once again, now Zingy's going for a mega exit here on the traction. That's the Ferrari of Robbo round, unfortunately. But Zingy is ahead, not by as much this time, so Nifo might see a bit of an opportunity within the next couple of laps. Once again, so confident, under braking. Is he going to try and challenge for a move here? No, it would be a possible idea just to make sure he keep that pressure on Zingy, but I don't know. He might have a run through here with the slipstream. Would it be enough? Is he going to go for the send? No, he's not. He's just going to have to sit behind and wait. Ruleton got a bit of a gap to the cars ahead at this section of the circuit. Not really enough to be too much of a worry, although Luke 6 tenths behind. It just looks a little bit bigger than I would expect, and it's just, they got to be careful. Although, as soon as Nifo initiates the move on Zingy, and Zingy has to go defensive, or they just have to go side by side, they'll slow each other up and allow Luke and Rillaton to also have a look themselves. So they've got to be careful how they do this, Nifo. He wants to just try and get to the lead, and at the moment he does have a very good chance because he is, of course, second in the DRS train. He can just use the DRS to his advantage, push on the ERS and make the move until the pit stop. So in theory you could say maybe Nifo's just going to wait. He could just wait until the pit stops occur, and that's probably the best thing to do, although he might have a bit of trouble here for Rillaton if he's not careful. Rillaton's so close. Zingy manages to escape as a mistake is made by the AlphaTauri. Would Rillaton try and push for a move here? No, they will not. Nifo pushes on the ERS to catch back up to Zingy and not allow any threats from the McLaren behind them. Once again, so close into turn 9. It's absolutely incredible how close he is getting, but losing it just afterwards. It just shows you the advantage that Zingy has in the traction zones purely by, well, some people say controller, but I think there's also a big element of skill there for Zingy. He's so good on the traction. Nifo is as well, but Zingy's just absolutely amazing. Goes for a bit of a mistake. Maybe not, just go for that later apex. Nifo seems to be absolutely incredible on the brakes. So both of these guys have their strengths and weaknesses in this race so far, and it's going to be a big part to play in the winner of this race, of course. Rillaton right there, as they are just waiting in that train. Luke sat in P4. They're a little bit closer than they were, but they're not really doing anything. They're just relaxing. If they can avoid pushing with the ERS and they can avoid getting any time penalties, then it will give them a big advantage later on. Of course, I think they might have cut that corner early on in the race, trying to make a move on Rillaton, and that might have maybe spooked them out a little bit for track limits, and they're just having to try and relax, get a few laps under the belt, and then make that penalty worth it. And Zingy makes a mistake, a wheel bang between the two. I think Nifo's just about held on to the DRS. No, they didn't. Amazingly, I don't believe that. I do not believe that. There's a tiny wheel bang between the two. Zingy somehow just got the DRS off the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri doesn't lose anything. They just sit in P2 now. But that was a very scary moment there for Nifo, because he almost lost the position there to the McLaren and Rillaton. That was a very interesting situation to be in. I'm not quite sure what happened. The Ferrari once again making a mistake of Dave Raptors, unfortunately. Hopefully they can get back into this later on. The top four sit in their train as usual. Very different lines between the top two, of course. Eager Pro and Stra having a little bit of a battle on their own. Not in DRS range, but they're still close to two Serbian drivers. Robbo on his own a little bit, although he does have PJ right behind him, I should say. It's actually Dave Raptors and Gilly that are a bit more split. Now, Nifo, very close. Once again, he could just pull the plug and go for that move if he really wanted to. Although a lot of top-end straight-line speed in that car, it seems. So he's really has the advantage there when it gets to the end of the straight. So he can just pull the plug, go for the move. At this stage, he has control, although Zingy can realise that he doesn't need to put the pressure on with ERS Rillaton getting a 3-second sat in this train. So they either need to calm down, hope the other guys get time penalties, or they need to try and start making some moves to make that time penalty not as effective. Zingy goes to the inside, probably going to go back to the outside to try and break the toe. He does go back to the outside. Nifo is going to go for the move, but no, they're not. They force Zingy to go very deep. There was a bit of contact. I don't know if there's lag here or desync, but that was a weird situation to be in. All of a sudden, Nifo wanted to stay behind, but they can't lift too much, of course, because Rillaton will make the move if they're not careful. Now Zingy finds himself going defensive into turn 11, and that's Rillaton who might have a look here on the inside. It's not enough. They could have cut the corner there as well as they try and take avoiding action. They weren't far enough alongside to be deemed that space. They're taking a little bit of a risk here that they maybe didn't need to. They can try and push. We know that Rillaton is very quick in a straight line. Now Nifo, he's got to be careful. I know he's good under braking, but it wasn't even under braking there. He was just on the straight, didn't want to go for the move and make contact. He either needs to just go side by side and then brake a little bit earlier, or lift. Now, yeah, as I said, the problem, if he does lift, Rillaton might try and have a go for a move, and then that would screw him up even more. So he's really got to be careful how he does this. He just doesn't seem to want to lead this race. He really wants Zingy to take the brunt of the train at the moment. The ERS is pretty much equal, I would say, for most drivers. They don't really have to do anything. Once again, Zingy goes defensive, and here we go. This time, Niffo will go for the move. Zingy's going to slot back into P2, let them go for it, and then we'll see what these guys can do in a little bit. Now, Niffo will lead the race for the first time this race, of course. It's going to be very, very interesting. They had pole position. They lost it into turn 1. Of course, swooping around the outside, then had the inside advantage was Zingy. But we'll have to wait and see. Is Niffo going to decide to push here? They've got a big gap. A lot bigger than what Zingy had, of course. So maybe Niffo is faster. We don't quite know. He's been sat here for a while. The hard tyres are going to go on for a little bit longer, about lap 18 to 22. That's usually just the pit stops, just for general racing, more or less. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. About lap 18, I'm saying lap 19, we're going to see some drivers going into the pit lane. And by having the lead of the race, you will cause the reaction, of course. You do have the advantage. But also, if you're in second place, you can make a move when the pit stops are about to happen, so you could have control. It's really a bit of a preference here, and if you think you can defend that move. Now, Niffo does have a fairly big gap to Zingy. I don't think it would be enough for Zingy to go from even unless he absolutely held the button down. So right now, Niffo's done a very good job to secure a nice gap and not get pressured on this straight. But I don't know, all of a sudden they just decided to go for the move after lifting so much during this race. They have a lot of pace in the car that I'm just very confused at the starting phase of that race, why they weren't going for the lead. Maybe they just wanted to relax, keep it a bit more conservative, and have a bit more time to think about what to do, and then go for it, because they can't afford to lose Rillaton and Luke going in front of them, of course. That is a yellow, as unfortunately Luke makes a mistake. So sat behind Rillaton now. Rillaton doesn't have any pressure from the car behind. They don't need to get any time penalties. They're good to go. They're just sitting behind these guys. Now, Luke's got to be careful here. They just want to try and get back into this race. Luke could do very, very good. Got P2 back in Abu Dhabi. Hopefully we can see them get some good results again soon. They have a lot of potential and every chance of winning races. They just make the little mistakes that unfortunately lose them a lot of time. Actually, last race in Abu Dhabi, they didn't actually make any mistakes. They did get themselves that P2. They just weren't on the better strategy, of course. Now, once again, Niffo has a big, big advantage all the way through turn 6. Zingy is mighty. Absolutely epic through turn 6. So, once again, I don't think he's close enough to just pull the plug and go for the move. Luke retires from the session, as that is a safety car. That is an interesting one. Have they lost the rear and from the left-hand side? That is a very, very strange collision there. I mean, I guess that I have done it myself. So they've exited turn 6, smashed straight into the wall. Now, Niffo has the advantage here of being ahead. I assume everybody's just going to decide to go onto a double medium here. It's going to be a double medium. I don't really know if there's any advantage of not doing that. You could, in theory, just sit on that medium tire, maybe have track position. Maybe the DRS train would be enough of an advantage. I don't quite know. But we'll have to wait and see how it is going, of course. Niffo into the pit lane. They lead the way. We'll see what we can do. Sorry for the delay. Alrighty. They've wrapped a 3-second, unfortunately, as they maybe got it for crossing that pit lane entry line, as did say in the briefing. So yeah, it's something that we know about, something that drivers had to be careful, and we'll have to wait and see if it can get removed, if they want to get it removed, that is. It might not even be able to get removed, that is the question. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Nifo, Thingy, and Ruleton. P1, P2, and P3. Ruleton, the time penalty now is going to be very, very effective, which is not what they want to happen, of course, because they will be in trouble towards the final stages of this race. Gilly will now catch back up to the grid after their issues at the very start of the race, and they will be able to, I guess push, maybe try and help their teammate if possible. Now, of course, all of these guys on that medium tyre, in theory, if Gilly could stay with the pack, they could stay out, wait for the pit stops, the second phase pit stops to happen, and then hold up Zingy. Although, now I'm looking at it, we're not going to be going in this lap, so we're going to be racing on lap 13 out of 27. I don't think we're going to be pitting again, you know? I think we're going to be extending the tyres all the way to the end. I reckon we're going to be staying out. It's not going to be possible. So lap 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then another 7 laps. Is that 15 laps? 15 laps. Yeah, is that... Yeah, that should be 15 laps, right? If I'm correct. No, it's not. What? I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. No. I think it's 15 laps. Anyway, regardless. We're going to have 15 laps of racing. I reckon people are going to try and extend it. Some people will go for the softs, I reckon. So it just depends. Who's going to go for the softs, who's going to extend, and who might risk a possible puncture. Will the mediums go 15 laps? I'd assume so. 15 laps shouldn't really be a struggle. 16, 17, 18 is going to start to be a struggle, and then we'd probably see puncture territory around 18 to 19 laps on a set of mediums. Depending on how good you are, maybe you could bring it to 20 or 21. But yeah, I reckon we're going to be not pitting again. And if we are going to pit one more time, it will be onto a set of softs. Alrighty. Sorry for the delay, we should be good to go. We will be going racing, and I assume we'll get that confirmation once we cross that sector line, which is also very, very close. Now, Nifo will lead the way. He's backing up the pack just a little bit earlier than usual, of course, as you can preempt it about to come in. Confirmation, the safety car will be in this lap. Nifo leads the way and Zingy in P2. He wants to try and get a good jump here. He's very good at reacting, so it's not going to be an easy task. It's whether Ruleton can stay in the fight or not, of course, if he can react well to Zingy's restarts. Waiting for the safety car to go in. Alrighty. the safety car into the pit lane. We will return racing very, very soon. When will Nifo go for the restart? When will he go for it? Will Zingy be able to react in time? He's pushed for it already. He's gone for it. Lovely stuff. Zingy reacts amazingly. Brilliant reaction for him there, as he's going to be right behind the AlphaTauri. Rulaton as well. Another good reaction. Eager Pro a little bit further off. Unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize. Will Zingy go for the lead? They will go for the lead to the inside line. Is it going to be the advantage? No, it will not. As once again, Nifo manages to take it, but he makes a mistake on the exit. Here we go. Zingy is once again going to lead. After the restart, he will take the advantage. That was perfect there for Zingy. Nifo tried to use Zingy's own trick on him by going to the outside line, but it wasn't enough. A mistake there for Nifo. He's so close there with Rulaton. That's way too close. That's Eager Pro right there. He now manages to catch back up to the order. Stroud, there's a bit of a gap, but not too much. Robbo in P6. PJ sat behind as well. Looking good to see them back in the order, of course, after the issues earlier on. Once again, Gilly as well, and Dave Raptors also very close behind. So we got our lovely long train going right here. Zingy leads the way by 6/10. 6/10. So he may be trying something a little bit different, of course. Earlier on in the first phase of this race, we saw everybody pretty much sit close together. Zingy, is he going to try and push here and escape that DRS zone? Is he going to take no second chances here? Would he want to go for that push? It looks like in the final sector he can't really have the advantage, but the question is, will he push for the gap on this lap? The DRS will be available not on this lap, but the next lap. He goes for a lovely fastest lap, of course, on that fresher tyre and the lighter car as well. And we restarted before the final corner as well, so you gain a lot of time. By doing so, it could still be beaten on this next lap, maybe even by Zingy himself. Now, I think my point that I was thinking about, my theory that I was having a look into, has pretty much been invalidated. 6/10 once again is the gap. The chances of Zingy breaking that gap is slim, although 7/10 is now the gap. That turn 6 is absolutely incredible for Zingy. That is a lovely corner that he just seems to be able to get right pretty much every time. Once again, Nifo, he has his strong point into turn 8 and 9, where he can gain massively, and he has a very good couple of corners in that final sector as well, which he has just a mega advantage with. Zingy, though, once again, just the advantage that he gets out of turn 6 is just so significant. He gains about a tenth and a half, maybe even 2, you could say. It's absolutely brilliant to watch. Now, Nifo can pretty much match Zingy here on the exit of turn 12. 13 is pretty much just a dead zone. Can't really gain too much around that one. Nifo gains a lot in the braking zone, but on the exit of turn 15, the final corner, onto that straight, once again Zingy has the advantage. Rulaton this time goes for the fastest lap, so they're trying to get back up the order. Eager Pro, unfortunately, not going to get DRS unless they can push a little bit more, but it also looks like they might be able to escape from Stra, possibly as well. Robbo has a bit of a gap, PJ right behind them. Now we have Nifo sat in P2. They're going to get the first dose of DRS once again. Let's see if they try and push early on or not. I don't think they will. I think this is just going to be a time once again that they will relax and wait to see what happens. Of course, he catches a lovely amount this time, and now it's time for him to relax and wait for the final stages of this race. Tyre wear is equal. He has the advantage with that DRS. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't let Zingy relax, but also doesn't use too much ERS. And you really need to try and judge what you want to do with that situation, of course. You have to ration the ERS to make sure that you keep the car ahead on their toes and don't let them relax and save their own tyres and energy for the final stages. Very, very close to the back of Zingy there, and that does compromise their exit. Almost contact, which is pretty crazy. but it is what it is. They should be alright, luckily. Six tenths, 5 tenths, and 4 tenths as Nifo catches up. Would he make it 3? Yes, he will make it 3. So catching up a lot, actually, to 2 tenths there. That is only from the start-finish straight. And the start-finish straight, yes, it's long, but it's not really where you go for the overtakes, of course. You use the start-finish straight to try and line up a move, and then you go for a move on the main straight. The back straight, no DRS, you don't really look for anything too much there. The top 3 running away with it now. Of course, in that train, it gives them a big advantage. Even if Egapro was faster, it would be so difficult for him to actually catch. We'd have to wait and see how that goes, of course. Now, Nifo catching a massive amount. Once again, like I said earlier on, they just need to pull the plug when they want to go for that lead. We're not going to be seeing that plug be pulled for a long, long time. Robbo and PJ switcheroo the positions. We're going to go and watch on board with these guys as Robbo is on the inside here of PJ. Lovely, lovely stuff. Now has the outside line. Would he have the advantage? PJ would seemingly have the advantage. Once again, though, they're so close and trying to stick it side by side, taking way too many risks, both of these drivers. On lap 16... and it's gone horribly, horribly wrong. I do not believe it. That is maybe a mix of the game physics coming into play, but PJ and Robbo now lose those positions. And of course, as reserve and EU drivers do still count to the point system, that does lose PJ a lot of points. Gilly now promoted a fair bit just from that collision that they weren't even involved in. They have Dave Raptors right behind them as well, so they could possibly lose a position if they're not careful, but time penalty wise they have the advantage. Stra pretty much in no man's land, as well as Egapro. So both Serbian drivers are just sat left to think about life, as Egapro does go for a bit of a corner cut, unfortunately. But still, very good points right now. 12 points on the board for Egapro as they stand. Stra, though, doesn't have a time penalty, as Egapro just got that, so Egapro still needs to break away by 3 seconds if he wants to secure this race. Leaders sat in their own little land at the moment, of course. Ruleton, he has to push. He does have to push if he wants to go for the move, but at the moment, it looks like he's just going to settle for P3 and not really worry. He goes for a big corner cut, interestingly. That was a bit questionable. But it is what it is. Ruleton, as I said, yeah, they do need to try and make a move if they want to reduce this time penalty situation, of course. But actually, they might even lose DRS if they're not careful in this final sector. They've got to be so careful. But at the moment, it looks like they're just going to settle for P3 and not really bother with anything else. Unless they're going to try and get their time penalty removed and maybe fight later on in this race. That would be a possibility, but it's never guaranteed. Nifo sat behind here, just waiting. That is the way this will go. It's a very different way of driving. It's an art in itself. Some people maybe don't like it, but I think it's pretty exciting either way. Side-by-side racing and also strategic racing can be very entertaining. Right now we've got a lovely bit of strategic racing. Just waiting for the reaction to happen. Either Zingy could push and start the catalyst, or Nifo would try and make that move. I say try. Would Zingy want to try and stay ahead until, I don't know, the final 3 laps? Let Nifo go through and then try and get back up the order. I'm not quite sure. Ruleton also could get in this fight, of course, even with that time penalty, although I don't really expect them to fight too much. They don't really have anything too much to gain, especially at this stage of the race. Now they're losing time, they're losing chances to catch up to the order. It's probably not going to be really that much of an advantage. Ooh, very close to contact there once again. Leaving the margins fine, but once again, as I said, they just need to keep that pressure on. They just have to keep pushing and not let Zingy relax. At the moment, he might be relaxing a little bit because he knows that Ruleton and Nifo behind him they're not going to be a threat. Even if Nifo goes for a move, Ruleton's still quite far away, and Zingy can just decide, you know what, I'm going to let Nifo go through, and Ruleton won't be able to get close. Nifo, is he going to go for a move early on? It would be very, very early. I'm not going to expect a move until about lap 24-5-ish. So we've got a long way to go until we do get any kind of switcheroos, of course. We're going to go back with these guys as they are not in a DRS train. So will we see a move here for Dave Raptors on Gilly? Gilly is a mean driver when it comes to straight line speed, and they're pretty much equal despite Dave Raptors having that DRS. So yeah, that is a very, very crazy thing to see, but it is what it is. And nothing you can do about it, unfortunately, for Dave Raptors. I do wonder, will we see one of these guys further behind go for a set of soft tyres? Maybe even PJ. Did he go for it? Has he already made a pit stop? I think they must have started on the mediums, maybe, I guess. It's quite a possibility, of course. Robbo, bit further behind the order. They're on the hards as well, so those guys that did start on the medium tyre, they are going to lose out a lot to this, and they're probably not really going to catch up enough compared to what a set of medium tyres would. And if you can stay in the DRS train, the medium tyres will just have such an advantage. If you could stay in the DRS train as a hard tyre runner, however, which isn't the case, but still in theory, if you did do such a thing, you'll have a massive advantage because you'll be able to stay with the group and you'll have the tyre advantage later on in the race, and you'll be able to have a very good chance at making a move. Nifo, 5 tenths behind, as once again Zingy is legendary through that turn 6. He would just need to go through turn 6, or so close. He would just need to go through turn 6, spam the ERS. The chances of Ruleton going... In theory, if Zingy just exited turn 6, used the ERS, the chances of Nifo going for a move is very, very slim. Because even if Nifo had the DRS and the ERS is just way too powerful, and it would probably equalize it a little bit. So yes, Nifo would catch up, but it probably wouldn't really be enough to do anything too much. Just sat with the top 3. Once again, nothing really happening at this stage. Nothing can be done. Nothing is needed to be done because this guy has everything under control. He has that DRS, of course. He has the ERS to spare. He's just waiting at this stage, of course. We'll see how it goes in a little bit. Once again, I want to go to these guys. No. He can't catch. He just can't catch. Gilly's way too quick in a straight line. Now, will Gilly be able to get possibly Stra on the straights? Is it going to be a chance? I don't know. I don't think it will be. I don't think it's going to really be a possibility to do so. But it is what it is. If he can get it done, that will be very, very great to see. ERS is somewhat moderate for him. It's enough for an overtake, but once again, Gilly's just way too quick in the straight line, and despite having the DRS, the pace is just equalised. It's so frustrating when you're sat behind a driver that you can't overtake on straight line speed. Lap 21 out of 27. My predictions say lap 20. I'm going to say 5. I don't think we'd really see any overtakes on lap 24. Because we'd have 24, 25, 26 and 27. That's 4 laps of racing. So yeah, 25, 3 laps of racing. That's probably the sweet spot. Because you have one opportunity to put the pressure on. You have another opportunity to make the move. And then you have one final lap to try and stay ahead. That's if you can rush an ERS. You might want to actually go for a challenge on lap 4. 24, of course, because you get 2 laps then to try and pressurize the car ahead to either use ERS or make a mistake. 1 lap to make the move, and then 1 lap to defend. can go for a move on the final lap, but it is risking it slightly, of course. Now, Zingy, once again, watch this. Watch the traction. Get the car in a straight line, put the throttle down, and has such an advantage. He gets the car straightened up sooner than Nifo does, and that's where he has the advantage. Here we go. Looks like we might even have a move already. Really? He's actually going to go side by side. He's going to make the move stick. Oh, switchback here is available for Zingy. Cuts the corner a little bit harshly. That might be a bit of a problem in a bit. We'll have to wait and see. Forced to the inside line as Nifo wants to try and hold on. Zingy has the inside line, but he has to back off. It's not worth it, honestly. He'll have the advantage now by being in P2. Now, Nifo's got to hope that this has aggravated Zingy, and Zingy wants to go for a move sooner rather than later, but I don't know if it will. I think that might have just allowed Zingy to have the advantage, unless Nifo can push away. If he thinks he's faster, if he knows he's faster, and he can push away out of the DRS range, Ruleton might try and go for a move on Zingy, and that would slow him down. I don't know. 6/10 is the gap now. Maybe I've predicted everything completely wrong, and a curveball happened as Zingy lags back. He lags back into Ruleton. 1 second is now the gap. Is this gonna be either a massive advantage to Nifo, or is it gonna be a blessing in disguise? Will it force Nifo to try and push and take advantage of this opportunity and maybe run all his energy out until later on? He's pushing. I don't think it's gonna be enough. I do not think it's going to be enough. I don't think Zingy's going to get the DRS. Watching from the back of Ruleton, he doesn't have the DRS. He doesn't have it. It's not going to be possible. And Nifo leads the way now. That is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. On lap 23. I do feel for Zingy, but unfortunately that's just how things go. In virtual racing, you can't do anything about it. It's just the way things go. It is what it is. Zingy loses that DRS just for a moment. Just for a moment. Nifo could still be threatened here if he can't maintain it. Now, the advantage that he has here, a bit of a psychological advantage, of course, because Zingy might have to try and push here. That might cause him to risk maybe a couple warnings, maybe even a time penalty. So yes, Nifo could have an advantage, but they've got to be careful. They can't afford to use everything in the tank because they've got a long way to go still of this race if they want to try and go for this win. But right now they're doing an amazing job. An absolutely amazing job. Ruleton, I think, holds the fastest lap. The guys behind might try and go for a fastest lap to try and take that away because, you know, you can get an extra point and it's kind of worth it, you know. But at the moment, Nifo has a very nice advantage, and Ruleton could possibly challenge here as Zingy goes off the circuit. That's going to allow Ruleton to go for a move, and it will allow him to realise what Zingy's situation is. He's pushing for the move. He's using the ERS. He's got the DRS. He's going to challenge into turn 8. Is Zingy even going to fight it? I do not believe it. He has lost it. He has lost the DRS, and this could be a crucial moment now. Ruleton has a chance here to push. He has a chance here to push. He's probably not going to lose the position. He's not going to gain the position on Zingy, but I think Zingy's trying to consider possibly a DRS train here. If he can use Ruleton as a bit of a battling ram, of course, and also Ruleton, it seems to be that they have enough ERS to challenge maybe Nifo here. So by doing that, Zingy would automatically cancel out the disadvantage that he has ERS-wise, and he can focus on saving it. Although 7/10, it does look like Ruleton is very, very quick right now. Leading the way, lap 25 out of 27 we will go to. We've got 3 more laps remaining of this race, ladies and gentlemen. Nifo leads the way with 1 car in between his championship rival. Absolutely incredible scenes at the moment. Nifo's had control of this race most of the time. I will say, even though Zingy's led a couple laps and been sat in that DRS for a couple laps as well, he has had the advantage pretty much the entire race. And now it's absolutely incredible. Once again, as we saw in Singapore, as soon as Nifo had the lead of the race, he runs away with it. He runs away with it at the end of races. It's absolutely incredible to see. When it counts, he's pushing and he is in a strong position. Rulaton can't catch up to Nifo. He cannot catch up to Nifo. Zingy, this is going to be frustrating for him, but pretty much he's in the best position he can possibly be in to try and catch up, because he can't do anything about it either. ERS now is gone for Rulaton. Zingy could possibly now have another go back at getting the position back just to secure it, just in case Rulaton tries and gets a time penalty removed. But making mistakes like that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We're about to start the penultimate lap of the race and he's not in a position to overtake. He's not in a position to overtake. He is in a bad situation. Stra and Gilly, they are going to have a little bit of a shindig here. Gilly waiting for the final few laps to go for it. Stra, that we knew that Gilly was catching, but will the Haas be able to defend? Now, both of these guys know ERS, no time penalties, I should say. They've got ERS and DRS to use. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes, of course, on the final lap of the race. Zingy, is he going to challenge for the move? Is he going to even be able to challenge for the move? That is the question. Rulaton sits ahead. I don't think it's going to be possible. Rulaton has nothing really to lose if they fight this position. Zingy catches up, but it's not enough. It's not enough. They're both pretty much equal on energy usage. And Nifo only escapes more and more. A mistake there for Zingy. It's over. It's surely over. As that's a time penalty for Stra. Gilly catches a massive amount, almost outbreaks himself. That could be a bit costly later on if they can't get it back together in the final sector. But it doesn't really matter. Stra's got a time penalty. He can sit behind and doesn't really need to risk anything. Although, you know, you want the track glory, of course. We're about to start the final lap of the race, and Nifo is leading the way. Rulaton was not able to do anything about it. Sitting in P3 is the championship leader. Time penalty wise, Rulaton will of course lose this position. Doesn't really matter to Zingy. He needs to be winning the race to secure the championship. Nifo, he's doing everything he needs to. The fastest lap, not ideal, but at least for him, Zingy doesn't have the fastest lap. That is the plus side for Zingy right here. No, for Nifo, I should say. But also for Zingy, of course, because they can't gain much of an advantage. Making a mistake once again, so turn 6 once being his best corner of the circuit. Not anymore. He's got a very good run, however. He is going to have a look for the move. Surely he has to challenge. Will Rulaton go defensive? No, they're not. They're not even going to try and go defensive. A bit of lag once again. Very interesting situation to be in. Rulaton will maintain that position. I don't know if Zingy's even going to risk it. I think it's over. It wouldn't really be worth anything unless he can get a good run here into turn 11. No, he can't do anything about it. On the throttle would be his best chance at the moment. On the throttle into the hairpin, maybe that would be his final chance. Other than that, it's going to be all over. I don't think it's going to be possible. No, it will not. He's way too far back. This guy's done an incredible job. He needed to win the race to stay in the championship, and he has done that. That's incredible motivation there for Nifo. 5.2 seconds is what he leads. That is incredible. Incredible. Rulaton will lose it. Zingy takes P2. Rulaton in P3. And then Igapro will take a solid P4. Brilliant points there for Aston Martin. Stra is going to lose it. Is it going to be to the line? DRS, ERS is available. I don't quite know. Gilly won't be able to make the move in time, but he'll get it on time penalties anyway. Brilliant stuff. PJ crosses the line, P7. Dave Raptors and Robbo in P8 and 9. Luckily for them, they are reserve drivers. So they're just getting good data for tomorrow's race, of course. And they will be good to go for tomorrow. They're going to be in a great position with a Grand Prix mode. Well, not a Grand Prix, a multiplayer race under their belt, of course. Nifo, Jan, has won the Grand Prix. They've won the French Grand Prix. Absolutely incredible. Their second win this season. And a very important one to keep the championship alive. How about that? Give this guy a round of applause. That was amazing. Dave Raptors goes and gets driver of the day. I'm not saying that Dave Raptors didn't do a good job, but Nifo, that was incredible. That was incredible. Here he is, onto that podium. That is absolutely incredible. Well done to him. Lovely big smile on his face, I'm sure. How about that? Amazing. Nifo wins, Zingy in P2, and then Rulaton in P3. That was actually Robbo getting fastest lap in the end. Ega Pro, Gillistra, PJ Dave Raptors, and Robbo with the fastest lap, of course, and then Luke DNFing earlier on in this race as they caused that safety car, which caused everybody to make that pit stop, and it did kind of take away the strategy, but, you know, it still created a pretty exciting race in the end. That's been it. We'll see you for the post-race interviews. Do not go anywhere. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the post-race interviews of the French Grand Prix. We return to the circuit for the first time in a while, as I have said many times, and it wasn't a bad race at all, was it really? Gilly, we start with you. You had some nice battles. Of course, the start of the race didn't go to plan, but the safety car allowed you to get back into it, and you got a decent amount of points. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah, I'll take that. I had a mega start and I was so proud of myself, and then I spun twice on lap 1, so that wasn't great. And then I got wing damage as well during my adventures, so the safety car was lovely.
I mean, I guess the advantage of that is you've got all the bad luck out the way for the weekend, and tomorrow you can.
Yeah, now I'm gonna lap Ben.
Yeah,
that's my goal.
Exactly. Brilliant. Yeah, it was great to see you back into the race, of course, after the safety car. So, yeah, brilliant for that one. And well done on the P5 in the end. Were you matched on the straights there, or were you not really pushing until the final lap?
The final lap, yeah. I was trying to push him. I was waiting for the last few laps, trying to get some ERS, because I dumped my ERS trying to catch up to him. And then I think I scared him a little bit, and he went off track and got the penalty, so then I didn't try so hard on the second lap.
Fair enough. I mean, really good job today to get back into this and keep going, not giving up, so well done. Brilliant stuff. Austria, if I'm correct, is the next track. That should be a good one for you, right?
It's a nice track. I hate qualifying on it. I hate practicing it, but I like the racing on it.
Yeah. Do you think a straight line, a high straight line setup would be an advantage to you, or do you think because everybody's probably going to run similar, it wouldn't be?
Well, you reckon I should pull run?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not
big brain and go massive wings.
It's up to interpretation, of course.
Do my overtakes in sector 2.
But the advantage, as you say, you're enjoying the racing. The sprint race is there as well to allow you to get up the order if you don't like hot laps and qualifying, of course. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Spin.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Wasn't the correct Italian team either, I will say that. Alrighty. We move on to the race winner. Well done. That was absolutely incredible. You controlled that race pretty much from I'm not going to say lap 1, but after that was absolutely brilliant. That was dominant. I don't really know what to say. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first time I got pulled in a while, so that surprised me. I mean, I think all of the pole contenders messed up on their final lap. So I did. I think Ziggy got unlucky and got in a bit of trouble. Rulator, I don't know what happened to him, and same with Luke, but I'll take it. I mean, I got pole, got off the start, and yeah, when there's Ziggy on the place behind you, you already know you're gonna lose that place. I was hopeful, shouldn't have been. Just lost the place, and from then on, it was just like, oh, actually, it's not so bad because I could just sit behind.
P2's the best place to be.
Yeah. Just save the ERS, save my tires, because every time it was straight, I got very close. So I had to lift because I didn't want to pass him. So I lifted every time. Got the braking zones were so easier for me. So I think I saved a little bit of tires on that, and then. I got ahead at some point because I think I was like, I'm getting held back too much. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to see if I can pull away from it. And I think it kind of worked. I think it stayed around the same. And then the safety car came out, we all pitted. And then from then on, I was just sitting behind Zingy. And then at one point, Rulaton came very close to me. He was pushing one lap, but it was on 3 tenths. I'm like, this guy's pushing to overtake me. So I was like, I can't have this. So what my plan was is to overtake Zingy on that straight and then let him battle with Rulaton, which I did. I used like 50%, maybe 40% of my ERS, got past him, and then just tried to drive my own race. And it worked because I don't know, I think he made a mistake or he lagged or something. He lost a bit of time, got out of my DRS, and then at that point he just started battling with Rulaton, which was very good for me. Then all I had to do was control the race, not spin finally. And I mean, yeah, finally after what I don't know how long, like 4 months, maybe more. I finally won. So
What was it? It was the last win was Singapore. That was round 5.
yeah,
So it's been what is that? 8 races? No,
yeah.
What?
So, no,
No. 5. It's yeah, 8 races, right?
Oh, 8. Right, 8. So that's like
More or less.
I mean 2 months. That's it. Let's say more or less 2 months.
Yeah.
Which is a long time. So I'm very happy. I got a bit of trouble. I think the lobby lagged a little bit because I was behind Ziggy and he just rubber banded a bit.
Yeah, I noticed that from the beginning because there was quite a lot of lag in quali.
Yeah, so I kind of hit him on the straight, so I'm very lucky we both didn't crash. But yeah, it was a good race, clean racing overall, and yeah, I finally won, so it's great.
Yeah, really good job. I mean, winning a race kind of makes this question a little bit difficult, but I'm still going to ask it. Do you prefer Austria over France?
Oh,
or
hell
not
no.
really anymore?
No, France, statistically speaking, was one of my better tracks. And just in practice, it didn't feel good, but in the race, I liked it, man. I was enjoying it. Austria, I mean, the corner cutting, it's like literally, if you could design a track where a controller is fast, it's that track.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bother. I think that will be the race where Ziggy will take the championship, and I know he deserves it very much. But I will try my very hardest to, I will try my very hardest to not make sure that doesn't happen.
Still worth a shot, and strategy might be something to play because I think you can be fairly creative with that circuit. I think, not quite
Maybe.
sure, but anyway, sorry for me losing my train of thought. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. One last question:
words.
how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Finally, I won.
Well done today. I'm happy, and we'll see you next time. Well done. And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, still a P2 in the end. It's not what you wanted. I'm gonna put it down to reliability issues that happened. It is what it is, unfortunately. Are you still happy that you managed to get the P2, of course, for damage limitation?
Well, as I don't want to sound stupid here, but I am very ill, so I did say earlier on in the voice chat I'd be happy with a podium. And considering I'm battling with these guys for the win, it felt, well, I was going to say it felt good. I didn't feel good, but overall the feeling was a good buzz, really. I really enjoyed battling. Although Niffle won, I'm really happy for him. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to have a exciting race than win a boring race, in my eyes at least. But yeah, still, the championship is alive, so it makes it more exciting for later on. I guess that's, again, an advantage. Maybe we'll have to try and consider some double points, maybe some handicaps or thingy to make it even closer.
Well, last lap safety car.
or some last lap disconnections, possibly. That might be.
Oh no!
that might happen out of my control, and your control, of course. But yeah, can you take us through that race? What you were thinking? Of course, you've got the lead. I don't really know. What were you thinking? What happened?
Well, on the start, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to jump that. I've got this. Easy. Bang, into P1. And I noticed coming onto the DRS straight, I was really quick. I don't know if you noticed that one corner before the straight. Like
turn 6.
I just shot off, gained like 2/10 on everyone. And I was like, okay. And then Niffle tried to burn his ERS. And like, maybe not burn his ERS, but try to pressure me to use my ERS. And I wasn't falling for it. The safety car came out, which really messed me in road turn up, because at the end we had like 80% tyres compared to Niffle 60, so that's a Fortnite ill dance if you ask me. But honestly, I don't really mind the latter part of the race.
Yeah.
You might have already seen I've had some lag spikes, but
yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, right? I was going to finish P2 anyway, so there's no reason to be mad.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the lag just kind of took out the question of if you were going to be P2, and it destroyed the chances of a final few lap fight. But I will. I agree. Nifo had the control of that race the entire time, but as you said, you still did a very good job due to the situation. And it is a great shame for the reliability issues, but that's the way you have to deal with things in virtual racing, of course. It is what it is. On to Austria. Do you like that track or not so much? Nifo said it's going to be strong for controller players.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, because I've actually, contrary to belief, I'm not a big fan of Austria. I don't know, it's just like, everyone's so close together and you can't really express your pace, and you're always getting attacked, and I'm just like, I don't like that. I like a race where you've got a little sector and then like, you can pull away and then DRS helps you back. I don't mind about that, but it's just Austria how it's always, you get 3 DRS straights in the span of a minute. You know, that's going to be chaos, and I feel so, I don't have a good feeling about it. So
Fair enough. Yeah, it's either you love it or you hate it, I think, for Austria.
it's like Marmite.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't think of the word. Well done. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I am ill.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. And that has been it. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you next week for the Austrian Grand Prix, the final sprint race of the season, and round 14 out of 16, almost to the end. That will be a very interesting one, especially for the championship. We'll see you tomorrow for the French Grand Prix for the EU F1.5 EU Championship. No NA Championship, unfortunately. That has finished now. Lalek is the champion. AlphaTauri for the constructors as well. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.